Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with designated drinker, Director of Education at the Salem Witch Museum in Salem, Massachusetts, Rachel Christ-Doane. So, if you missed part 1, go back and belly up to that bar and give it a listen first. We promise we're gonna save a seat right here for you, right, Gina?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And then you can go back and get that tip.
Yes. And you can do your little magic in your glass or give yourself a little sparkle for the day.
There you go.
Absolutely,
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect for part 2.
Yeah.
Also in part 1, Rachel, you shared your journey to becoming a witch, which we know you're not, and how your studies in history translates into what you do today, and a little bit about the museum. So just in case our listeners missed that, I can't imagine why they would, but just in case they did, please, again, just give us a little tidbit on the overall on the museum.
So we are kind of a non-traditional museum here in Salem, Massachusetts. We're presentation style. So we offer 2 presentations, one all about the Salem witch trials and what happened here in Salem in 1692. And then we also have a secondary exhibit called Witches Evolving Perceptions, where we talk about the evolving image of the witch, the European witch trials, why witches have broomsticks and black hats and, pointed hats today, modern day witchcraft, and then also the importance of understanding the term witch hunt and how the Salem witch trials relate to our lives today.
How long did you told me that, and I was really surprised. How long did the witch trials last in Salem?
It's a pretty short amount of time. It's really just, so the initial sickness that causes them to think witchcraft is afoot, that starts in January of 1692, and the last people are getting out of jail in spring of 1693. So from, we could say in a year and a half at most, but the actual trials themselves are June to September of 1692. So a pretty short period of time.
That's crazy.
With a huge impact.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
But how long was it happening in Europe, though? Because it was like the same time.
So Europe is much longer. The European witch trials start around 1400 and they end about 1750 approximately. So there's several hundreds of years of witch trials going on, sporadically throughout Europe. It's not one long continuous trial, but you see flare-ups throughout Europe during that time.
That's crazy.
I have another question. Gypsy, witch, are they related or not?
Yes and no. Witches are initially defined as an individual who is thought to have sold their soul to the devil in return for magical powers. And this is a criminal offense. So that's what witches are defined as when we start hearing the word witch initially. The people who are accused of witchcraft tend to be, again, often women, though not exclusively. Sometimes they're people who are healers or use magic, although again, not exclusively. And they're often people who don't fit into the society for one reason or another. So that is different than what a gypsy is. A gypsy is kind of a whole other category, but there's some overlaps in terms of people who kind of roam from one place to another, who don't necessarily fit into society neatly. That's the overlap, but in terms of the actual definition of what a witch is, certainly not a gypsy.
I'm just saying, I've known a lot of gypsies, and they literally come up with the most craziest concoctions of like healing and stuff like that. I guess would that be more modern witchcraft with people with healing powers, or is that like older?
Yeah, so today people who identify as witches, there's a little bit more of an overlap of they're people who tap into magical practice. And when we say magic, they're not trying to like levitate off the ground, they're trying to tap into nature essentially and the kind of natural cycles of the world. So they're the ones who use like crystals and astrology and tarot and try to use divination and things like that, and it's all quite a sophisticated body of thought. So that's kind of where the overlap is, I think, more so.
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely have done my own versions of like spells and stuff. Like I like those cutting ties spells, and I think it's like for yourself. I think it's like something that you do like for your own like psyche, and I don't think it actually really does anything, but you have 2 candles and citrus, and then you have a string, and you say your intentions on the string and you light the candles, and then eventually it'll burn the string, right? And that's like, getting your own way of having peace
Yeah.
with like not speaking to somebody ever again or breaking up with a boyfriend, whatever it is. And I find that kind of stuff to be
Well, it's fascinating.
fun. Well, more fun, like a different way of like approaching it with yourself, like telling yourself like, we're done with this. Like we have to do something better.
I think it's like visualizing or manifesting what you're thinking, and we actually had celebrity witches on the show, and we talked about more. We went obviously head first into that type of conversation where it is what are modern day witches, who are they, what does that mean, and a lot of it was practice that is very common in religion, in common everyday religion. If you start talking about the candles in Catholicism and smoke and all the the body of Christ and the blood of Christ, they're out of context. It sounds very much alike. I don't mean to be a heretic, but they do. It was just really interesting to talk about those things from that point of view. I wanted to talk about one of my favorite witches, and Rachel brought up the other day when we were chatting. I want to talk about Bewitched, and I'd love for you to share what your thoughts on how what I thought was just like kind of an innocent TV show, how important you think it actually was.
You mean Samantha?
Yeah, the show Bewitched.
What was the name of her cat?
Her husband's name was Darren.
It was, and the cat had a very funny, cute name, and I can't remember. It just went out of my head.
I can't think of it. I know. I haven't watched it.
I think it's Salem, isn't it? Isn't it
Salem?
Well, Salem's the name of the cat in.
No, that's the cat on the other show.
Yes,
Sabrina.
Latina-owned witch. Samantha Stevens is. I love her, and I'm really annoying to talk about this with. My husband is so sick of hearing Bewitched, but Bewitched is kind of a really interesting show in terms of the evolution of the image of the witch. So the kind of very down and dirty, quick version of this is, like we've been talking about, witches initially are perceived as these very frightening figures. They're demon worshippers, right? They're evil. That's why we have this woman trying to lure kids into her candy-covered house to eat, like, scary witch figure. Yeah. And that's what a witch is from the inception of the idea for hundreds of years. And then we get to the 20th century and we start to see this figure changing and evolving. And one of the kind of big turning moments is the television series Bewitched, because now we have a witch who is girl next door. She's like America's sweetheart witch, where she's beautiful and she's kind and she's intelligent and she's this kind of trying to be a perfect housewife. And that's a very, very different version of what witches are. So you're starting to see this changing cultural conversation about what witches can be. And now they're becoming just women who are literally empowered, supernaturally empowered, and they're becoming kind of like role models in a way. And that's something that we see crescendo further, in the 90s. And of course, it's a very popular motif today. So that she's important in that context. And then also in terms of Salem, Bewitched came and did a series of episodes that they filmed on site here in Salem. It's called the Salem Saga. If you've never seen the Salem Saga, go back and watch Bewitched. It's like 3 or 4 episodes. And they did it simply because there had been a fire in their Hollywood studios and they couldn't shoot in their normal, place. So they decided to go off site and film in Salem, famously known for its witch trials.
It's crazy that they'd pick up the show and go from like Hollywood all the way to Salem, Massachusetts. I mean, I can see the tie-in, but I mean, just like on paper, but they make everything happen, and they make everything everywhere, especially back then in Hollywood. It's amazing that they went that far.
Yeah, it's really cool to see those episodes too, because you get to see Salem in the 70s. I think it was 1970 that they shot those episodes. And this is before Salem is kind of what it is today. People are coming to Salem and they're interested in the history of witchcraft, but the tourism industry doesn't really exist in earnest yet. Our museum doesn't exist yet. There really wasn't anywhere for people to learn about the history of witch trials, of the Salem witch trials, like in a complete way at that time. So the national success of those shows really redirected interest at Salem, and in part led to organizations like our museum springing up to kind of just meet the demand of people coming here interested in learning more about the witch trials.
It's crazy. And here we just thought she inspired I Dream a Genie.
All right, I got the answer.
What was the answer? What is the
Lucinda.
Lucinda? What's
And
the
then-
name of the cat?
And then her mother, Endora, also
yes.
used to come in as a cat.
Oh, that's right.
And they could transform, both of them could transform into cats. A lot of cats on the shows.
Yeah, because you remember the opening, which was animated. It's a cat sitting on the back of the broom, and it would change into Samantha.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was also a cat.
That's what I'm saying. Is it? That's what you said they transformed, because I just remember the animation.
So apparently Lucinda is Samantha. Oh. And then she comes into the door as a cat, and then she turns into Samantha, and then Darren falls in love with this petting the cat in the beginning. Oh. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I would also like to come back as a cat. Jesus Christ. I'm making a cocktail. Let's go.
Let's get a cocktail.
We're getting a cocktail. I can't.
All right.
I can't with all this pussy talk. I had to say it. Okay, so, what's more popular than ranch water right now? Seltzers are being made, and ranch water is a cocktail. And I have a feeling a lot of people don't know what actual ranch water cocktail is, and it's legitimately soda water, tequila, and lime juice, right? And most importantly, when you're making this drink, it's like you want to make sure that you just kind of balance the cocktail. Well, I wanted to make something so simple and that everyone's drinking a little bit more mysterious. So we're going to add what we talked about earlier was like a little bit of glitter component to it, and something easy to do for this time of the year and holiday season. So taking something so simple and making it just a little bit more playful and magical, if you will, right? All right, so let's make this cocktail. And one thing I like to do is I like to shake the tequila and the lime together instead of just doing it straight into the glass. So first what we're gonna do is get our glasses ready, because I'm making it for Louise, so she'll have to deal with my fingers.
It makes it all taste better.
Huh?
It makes it all taste better.
Yeah. And we're gonna do one really pretty one like that on the bottom. Hold on. Get one really, really, really pretty for Louise. And then we make mine just a little bit not so great, but if you were here in person, I promise I would have made it just as pretty for you as well. Okay, so in the bottom we have a glitter lollipop, which is actually going to wind up being the stir for this cocktail. And I hate this ice. It makes me insane. I start bringing my own ice here. They're like little I realize that our listeners don't know we're in studio and we have this ice, and they look like little top hats, and they drive me insane. All right, so each cocktail has about an ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. So that's roughly about one whole lime, depending on the size. If you're in California, it's half a lime. You guys have magical basketballs as limes over there, and everywhere else has these tiny little ones. So I'm using a tiny little lime, and I have to say it's my favorite thing. So I'm putting the lime in first, because I just want to make sure that it has all the little oils and everything in there. And now we're going to take our tequila, and we're using Espolon. I love Espolon. It's delicious. Nothing else to say. You could do 1.5 ounces of tequila. If you like it a little bit stronger, which Louise and myself do, we're going to put 2 ounces of tequila, and then we're going to fill it up with soda water. So now you have these two things inside the bottom. And now I said, right, I like to mix these two in the glass. I do not put ice when I'm shaking these together. I'm not looking for any more water dilution because we're going to actually use this with seltzer. So I just like to take it and give it a little bit of a shake, make sure it's fully incorporated, and then I strain it over the ice, and then I will add my soda water and I will give it a stir. So we're going to put that in, and all I'm just making sure that it's properly mixed, and I'm not trying to stir this drink too much. Okay, so now I'm going to use regular old seltzer water. You can use any soda water, seltzer water that you like. I mean, literally, I think this is Polar. You get it at your grocery store. You can go super fancy and use the high end, whatever you want. It just make sure it's carbonated and it's delicious. You can pour it over the top. And then you're gonna take your stirring spoon, give it a little plunge, and give it a stir. Now you have what you call ranch water. Now, in the glitter one, when I put my lollipop already in there, we're gonna use that to be the stir. We'll just give it a little turn and starting to release the glitter, which is really fun.
Oh, how cute.
And what I really love now, my favorite part, and I have to make sure that Rachel can see, right? We're gonna take that. You can see this one has a little flare. Now this is a little bit, now we're gonna add sugar to our ranch water. And this is a cotton candy. And we're gonna put it in. And you can see it dissolving, which is really kind of fun. And in there is, at the center of it is a bunch of glitter. And it just gives it a little dance, makes it a little bit dancey. And a lot of fun. Very glittery and a little bit ridiculous, really. I love that it's dance. Can you see it? It's all glittery. So I think we're gonna do both examples here, which I think are super fun. Like you have the idea of putting your glitter in the bottom of the glass, and then you have full on glitter. And I'll ask Louise, do you want me to add the glitter to this one too?
No, we'll do it just like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you're gonna drink this one, shoot the, how do you wanna do it?
We're gonna do them both. We're gonna shoot them both.
We're gonna shoot them both? Okay.
And then, no, just like
Don't
that.
put this one in there like that?
No, we just got option 1, option 2.
Option 1, option 2.
Give
Okay,
us options.
okay.
That's what we love.
Okay. Well, I can't have just 2. I need to add one more little garnish on the glitter one. Even though it's glitter, I have to add in there just a few more just for photos because I can't help myself. It's got to be dancey. All right. So that's that. That's glitter in a cocktail.
It's downright bewitching.
It is bewitching. It's just like a cat. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, I cannot lie. I do like the glitter a lot. It makes me feel special.
It's funny, right?
It's really cute.
You know what I do like about it though? It's like if you have like, for me, right? I have kids at my house, and like so you can have that out, you know, and the kids can take one and throw it in whatever they're drinking too. It doesn't like you know, they can't not be included if you're doing a non-alcoholic drink. Even like something simple like pineapple and soda water, right? Is one of my favorite things to drink just in general, non-alcoholic, and you just throw one in and it just looks cool, you know what I mean? Especially disco moms, right?
There
You
you
can be a
go.
disco mom.
You could disco mom. Yeah.
I mean, let's put it that for sure, right? No, it's like a little glitz and magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Modern day magic.
You know, I will say that when you put in the cotton candy in the one to show the glitter, and when I tasted it, I expected it to be sweet.
Oh no.
Because it was the cotton candy part of it.
Right, yeah.
And it wasn't. It's just a mechanism to deliver the
it's
glitter.
just, it's just this little burst, but it does have a flavor. Like I find it very funny when like so it's called luster dust, and luster dust has been used in cakes forever. Like forever. Anytime you've ever seen like, you know, gold or silver or anything on your cake, it's been used forever. But now all of a sudden it's everywhere. People use it for everything. So I'm like, this is so funny to me. Like, I'm like, whatever.
Where do you find that? Where would you find luster dust?
Luster dust you can get on Amazon for sure, or any cake shop, or like Williams-Sonoma, any place that decorates cakes. You can just buy it like that.
Oh, interesting.
But if you want to get any of these things, that's the product that I use is 99 Problems But Glitter Ain't One. And you can get them shipped to you from Amazon or any of your like higher end kitchen stores, stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So where are they going to go to get this recipe?
You're going to go to designateddrinker.show, and you're going to get the cocktail recipe, and you can go back and look at our tips and tricks and follow us on Instagram. DM me, questions. I love it. Hit me up.
Yep. And if you've missed any of that, don't worry. Just scroll down in your episode notes. We'll have links to everything Gina was talking about, the website. Of course, you not only get every single tips and tricks, every single episode, every single recipe. And then the other thing is that we'll make sure you have a hot link to the Salem Witch Museum in Massachusetts. So when you're ready to take your little... What is it? A herd, a murder, a squad, a what? A witches?
I think a murder
Yeah, that's what I felt. I felt like murder was right.
A coven, I believe.
Your group, your flock. To the museum, you can find out how you get your tickets right there. So, yeah. Will you take your little witchies up there?
I would.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. A group of witches is called a murderer?
We're guessing. A murder.
It's called
not
a
murder.
coven.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would be a coven. Yeah. I was joking.
I just think
the
of
fact that
murders.
coming up
It's
with
kind of
like,
funny.
what would you call it? Yeah,
Especially
a murder.
crows.
I was like, did you see my face? I'm like, I have definitely.
Because you know it's a murder of crows.
Yeah.
So
but
that's what I was
just
just joking where I was making them.
I was like, it's not a coven?
It is.
Sorry, everybody.
I was getting creative.
I have puppy brain. I am not sleeping these days. I did not have a new baby this time.
Yeah, this time.
I got a puppy instead because I'm an idiot. Anyway.
No, that's great. That's awesome. I can't wait to meet little Miss Lola.
She's very cute. Is it time? Is that time?
It is time.
Oh my God,
it
it is time.
It's
Okay,
time.
this is going to be an easy one, right? Okay. So it's our last question. This is also how we know if you ever listened to our show before. So in this day and age, everybody identifies themselves with some sort of creature or a mythical animal, but in your case, you might identify with a black cat, right? Because that you can transform into the witch or any witch that you want to be. If you could be one magical ingredient to define you, or cocktail ingredient or food ingredient. I had to throw magic in there when I can. What would that ingredient be, and how does it define you? Could be for food or a beverage, doesn't either one.
That's a fun question. So we've all heard the phrase "eye of newt," right? That's kind of traditionally associated with witches. So one of my favorite fun facts is an eye of newt. The phrase is not actually referring to a literal newt's eye. This was kind of shorthand slang from the Shakespearean period for daisies. So there were lots of different kind of slang terms for herbs, and it's kind of referencing the magical use of herbs. So we talk about that a little bit in one of our exhibits here. So I always kind of, I love that. It's a fun fact to whip out at a party. When you hear in Macbeth, the eye of newt, tongue of dog, wing of bat, they're not actually talking about those literal ingredients. That's just a joke that Shakespeare's audience would have gotten, that there are these different herbs that are associated with magic. So I don't know how you'd incorporate a daisy into what you're cooking, but it certainly would make for a pretty garnish. So I think I'm gonna have to go with an eye of newt.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. I love that.
Who knew?
Yeah, I love that. That's
awesome.
amazing.
See, we got fun. Education can be fun. Rachel just proved
Absolutely.
it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is the greatest.
Yeah. Well, on that note, cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to all you witches out there.
To all you witches. Keep being witchy, right?
Yeah. May the witch be with you.
Oh, it's so bad.
How many more do we have?
I don't even know.
Too many. The Designated Drinker Show is produced by Missing Link, a Latino-owned, strategy-driven, creatively fueled production co-op. From ideation to creation, we craft human connections through intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Also in the Missing Link lineup of podcasts is Roger That, a podcast dedicated to guiding you through the haze of dementia, led by skilled caregivers. Now, if you're looking for a whole new way to enjoy the theater, check out Between Acts, an immersive audio theater podcast experience. Each episode takes you on a spellbinding journey through the works of newfound playwrights, from dramas to comedies and everything in between. Find Missing Link's League of Podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And while you're there, please don't forget to follow, download, and review the shows. Your reviews help our shows reach new audiences. To find out more about Missing Link, visit missinglink.company. That's missinglink.company.